I haven't even started editing this video yet, and I gotta say right now that this episode is a lot less eventful than the last two. To be expected, those episodes were a sort of season finale. Of course, the show's gonna have to come back down from those high points. We just had these 2 episodes with these ridiculously high stakes. It's alright to have a more mellow, low-stakes episode every now and then. Man, I wish I had a cardboard cutout of myself. How much does it cost to get one of those made? If I ever do a booth or a panel at a con, that's gonna be my excuse for getting one printed. Then it can be a tax deduction.
Wow, those water constructs really did a number on Greg's fan.
From what I remember, it was just the Steven clone. Also, that's not the last time Lapis wrecks a car. Actually, she wrecks more than just cars throughout the show. A boat and a spaceship come to mind.
Hey guys!
Whoa, did that beginning just violate the Steven's point of view rule? Steven's missing and walks into frame.
I've got something that'll patch this van up real good.
Is it some kind of complex human tool?
Yep, high quality duct tape.
I hope some of you know who Red Green is. Every time people talk about fixing stuff with duct tape, I can hear that theme song playing in my head. If you don't know about the Red Green show, go watch it. The entire show is free to watch on the official YouTube channel. I love when old shows do that.
Some well-placed duct tape can patch anything up in a pinch. See?
In a pinch, sure, but Greg definitely should have gone to a fucking hospital for that. Unless this is the same day as last episode, in which case I get it, the van is dead and you don't want to pay for an ambulance ride. But letting it go untreated is recipe for something to go horribly wrong sooner than later.
What if you stayed with us until you got better?
Hey, that's a great idea. But won't I get in the way of your training?
Yes.
Pearl's hatred toward Greg is definitely touched on in this episode, but her knack for fixing machinery overpowers it. What's with Pearl and machines? That character trait kind of vanishes in later seasons.
Wait, Steven, don't you have healing powers now?
Oh, right.
And what's with Steven for getting his own powers? It's an audience thing, right? For people who watch the show out of order. Again, they stopped doing recaps at some point, and I can't quite remember when exactly. Also, I should mention this because I didn't have enough time for it in the last episode, but throughout Season 1A, Steven's powers only ever appear in the episode they were introduced, and then again in Ocean Gem, except shapeshifting and aging. But now we've unlocked direct continuity. Here, Steven's healing power is just arbitrarily included in the episode. That gets more and more common as the show progresses, and we'll get to a point where Steven is summoning his shield and stuff without a second thought. Okay, addendum to that, the bubble is the only power to appear twice before Ocean Gem. All the rest of them appear only once. If only the cartoon characters could see the sparkle effect added by the cartoon creators, then they would all have known this actually worked.
Cheer up, Steven. At least now we get to spend more time together, right?
Yeah, right.
That is definitely Garnet doing a future vision. She knows Greg's leg is healed and that this situation will end badly. Wow, what the fuck are these things? Where did they come from? What happened to the old stools? All of you who have been paying attention to stool continuity were probably waiting for this one. These new stools are symbolic of the shift this show has gone through over the past few episodes. They're not, but they're strange to look at after all this time of having those round bar stools.
Dear old dad, remember when you'd sing to me, would you do it again?
This is the worst song in Season 1, and a contender for the worst song in the whole show. You know how in later seasons, Zach Callison has to do a fake high-pitched kid voice and it just sounds awkward? Well, this song has the opposite problem, where his voice hasn't gotten lower yet, but the song is written too low for him, so it sounds horribly out of tune. Greg also sounds horribly out of tune too, not to mention the lyrics of the song don't really fit any of the visuals. I get why the song is here in the episode, but it just brings the whole thing down for me. No, you're getting water all over the instruments! What the fuck, Steven? It's weird that the episode holds on Pearl wiping oil off herself for so long. That's weird, right? It's not just me. This episode's animation is all off, the faces especially. I didn't mention it until now because this face is the most obvious example, but like, everyone's eyes are too small or something. I can't quite put it into words.
If anything happens to you, you can call us with this.
What is it?
It's a warp whistle.
Warp whistle.
Add the warp whistle to the list of weird things that never appear after Season 1. Now I'm gonna have to be on high alert for stools changing shape as well as them disappearing. Also add the geode to that list. This is the most important looking thing that the show has ever brought us to that never gets any follow-up or explanation. The joke, if you can call it a joke, being that Pearl gets interrupted by the warp whistle every time she tries to explain it. Is it a weapon? Is it an undetonated bomb? Does it control the weather or something? They never touch on it again.
Ah! Dad needs me! I'll be right back!
It always looked like Steven activated the warp pad here, but I think it's supposed to be the warp whistle. Weird that Steven did that T-pose, though. I guess it's not that weird, seeing how the gems pose when they warp sometimes. It is kind of fitting to give Greg a magical instrument. If he's anything like me, he could pick up an instrument and figure out some basic tunes in a couple hours, maybe less.
I'm really sorry, but where's the remote?
It still irks me that Greg is asking this when there's no TV on this level of the house. And then in a later scene, he's up in the loft. That should have been the evidence that his leg wasn't actually broken, unless everyone just assumed he dragged himself up the stairs by his arms. I'm still not quite convinced this would have worked. I know that there was writer confirmation at some point that it would have worked if his powers were working properly, but I've given my spiel about writers confirming stuff outside the show before. It's worthless to me. This is just a big rock, not in the same way that Gemini is a rock. Those are living beings. This is just a big stone shell around who knows what.
Dad, are you okay? Answer me!
Oh, Steven! You just missed the funniest commercial.
This also irks me. We're supposed to believe that Greg blew the warp whistle and then fell asleep in the 10 seconds before they all warp back. I don't think I'm nitpicking this, am I? This episode's writing feels like it's falling apart. It's losing me here.
No worries about earlier. You'll get a hold of your powers before you know it.
Thanks, Amethyst.
Get me a croissant.
Stools are gone. Also, this is the first time I feel like Amethyst has some really awful line reads. I mean, she's doing her best with the script she's got. There's just this layer of irony Vaseline smeared all over the dialogue. That could have been a nice, wholesome line, which would have made the joke land better, but instead it just sounds like she's being condescending. Throughout the show, we get to see every character at their lowest point, where they do something unforgivable, and this is that moment for Greg. Hiding the fact that his leg was healed was entirely selfish, especially when the outcome was to have Steven waiting on him and doing him favors all day. I think having characters do stuff like this is really a good thing. It guarantees that no characters are painted in a perfect light, and none of them are one-dimensional. They all have at least one moment that's unforgivable. I've seen other fans of the show entirely write off characters for one bad thing they do in the show, and I think that's entirely unfair. Greg isn't a bad person for doing this. I don't think there's a good justification for it, but he doesn't make that mistake again. If anything, it makes him a better person afterward.
I get what's going on. Your leg's not broken at all, is it?
It was broken, but you healed it back at the car wash.
You lied to me! Now I can't do it anymore!
It's neat that Steven can actually lose his powers after he gets them. It's not like the shield where he did it once and couldn't figure it out again. He was like 3 for 3 on healing and then lost it on the 4th. I kind of wish this came back. Losing a power is like losing a limb. It could be used to add drama and tension. They did it in Legend of Korra. Imagine at the end of Future if he lost all his powers or something because his emotions are all out of whack. That could have made that ending more interesting. How many times has Greg used the warp pad? He seems to have it pretty nailed down. We're halfway through season 1 and Steven's still floating in the warp sometimes.
Steven, get out of here! I'm responsible for this!
No, you're not!
But I messed up your powers! I did everything I'm not supposed to do and now you can't heal!
This dialogue is really messy. This episode is talking in circles, which is making me talk in circles. There's no new substance here. It's not giving me anything new to talk about. I do like that this episode avoids the trope that talking it out solves everything. It's a pit that a lot of kids' shows fall into, and it's a pit that this show avoids for a long time but still falls into eventually. But now Steven's healing power is gone, and it stays gone for a long time. Talking can't solve magic bullshit, at least this early in the series. And I like that they do fall into the trope of duct tape solving everything. It really emphasizes that the gems don't tend to consider the simplest option. Every solution has to be magical to them. That being said, when this episode came out, there were theories that the duct tape itself had magical healing properties.
So, I've realigned the axles, replaced the spark plugs,
Never looked this good.
sealed the leaks in the intake manifold gaskets, and recalibrated the timing belt.
Greg's van is a Dodge Tradesman, which has a timing chain, not a belt. I don't know what belt Pearl calibrated. This animation of Greg bear-hugging Pearl really stands out among the subpar animation in this episode.
Just in case you have trouble again.
Add this roll of duct tape to the list of season 1 things. Seriously, they focus on it as if it's something important, and I don't think it ever appears again. Chekhov's duct tape, but they don't follow through. I don't know if it's just coming off the high of that 2-parter, but this episode always bored me. It's just kind of bad. Not the bad that I can be upset about, but just bad enough that on most rewatches I end up skipping it. It's a good look at Greg as a character, and a look at Steven's relationship with him, but it's just not very entertaining. It's not funny, the animation is hard to watch, and that awful song, good lord. I'm sorry to all of you who like that one. I'm sorry you were cursed with bad taste in music. But the Greg songs that come later in the series are so much better. This one almost felt like it was written as a much earlier episode. It has those same growing pains you see in the first 10 episodes or so. But it's pretty much uphill from here. Some of the best episodes in the series are coming up, better than anything I've covered so far. So if you want to see new episodes a week before they're on YouTube, you can subscribe to my Patreon for just a couple bucks. The link is in the description. Shoutouts to my Journeyman patrons, Boomblorp, Emily, Fiore Army, Sindirant, Scala LD, Stephen Wickers, and the Tamara. Also shoutouts to these apprentice patrons. Next episode, we're going to space. Again. Almost.